stand there for the most part. And again, I haven't really done much with these guys, kind of intentionally here because I knew I was coming here. So now, let me explain this one more time on this lead rope McCarty setup. Now, there's a couple different ways if you're ever interested in using one of these. You can ride with it up through your belt. Now, I don't mean tied into your belt, just like that. If something happens, it slips right out. You know, there's nothing wrong. It's perfectly proper to get a couple half hitches on here, just like that, and ride with it like that. The other way you can do it is if you want to, and I won't go ahead and tie it up, and just put it in a little circle like this and tie it to your straps. Now, for your dressage riders, you got to have a horn. See, and I never could figure that out. You pay all that money for those, you get no horn with it. No, really, I was kidding. I was kidding the other day. I really appreciate that. I actually took a dressage lesson one time, and it was the funniest looking thing. Me and my Western saddle and hat trying to do dressage, but it's a very good discipline. And you know, if the riders are really soft with their hands, the horses will continue to be soft, and so I have no problem with that. You know, I think it's a really good thing. I think it's really nice, and some of those horses are fantastic with what they do. Yeah, he brace himself with the big butt getting up in here. This particular saddle here was made by a guy out of Ball Ground, Georgia. The guy's name was Ted Estes, and it's got a Guadalajara horn in it. Very good. Apache here is about the lightest horse I've ever ridden. He's very good. As you can tell, I don't have to do much to keep him moving. And a little inside here, maybe step him across a little bit. As you can tell, he hadn't been ridden much. He's got a little energy going, but that's all right. Get the hindquarters moving. As you can tell, he moves pretty well. Might step him across like that, which is the first steps to doing a spin. So you like that horse, don't you? Yeah, you do. Now we're going to ask for a little bit of vertical flexion here. Let's back him up. Very nice. Probably should have warmed him up before I got to you guys, shouldn't I? Now, he's actually a really good boy. He just gets a little excited sometimes, but he's actually a pretty good boy. He's probably 19, I suppose, by now. And like I said, he was an abuse case that came off of a ranch out in South Dakota. And when I got him, he had 30 bots I counted coming out of him, because I know Dr. Laura and I think we wormed him 5 straight days in a row, I think, something like that. And you could see every rib that he had, and he'd been beaten around the head, and he had a lot of issues. And so he's done pretty well. We're going to work on softness tonight, though. Even though he's a little excited, I'm not going to get real excited up here in the saddle. It's no different on the ground. I'm going to ask for a little vertical flexion here, and I'm going to back him up. I'm just mainly using my legs. You know, I don't like using the reins any more than I have to, like we were talking a little bit earlier. We'll show the girls how to kind of get that. You think the horse would be confused because what I'm using mainly is my legs to squeeze him. But what I do is basically just kind of signal him back, and then I stay out of his mouth. Of course, he's seeing all the people here. There we go. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Do it again. Back. He's a really good cattle horse. He steps over real light, as you can tell. You know, I like a horse you really can't tell when you ask them to do something, that they do it for you. Ask him to roll his hindquarters over. Usually that helps calm a horse down when they're good at doing that. You know, maybe we'll do a little bit of counter flex, 2-track, whatever you want to call it. But we're all going to stay very light. I've got 2 fingers here. A little side pass. You know, so the side pass, I have my leg open a little bit. I'm exaggerating that a little bit. I don't normally have it open that far. How you doing, girls? Okay, bring your horses on up. I want to let them warm up. And again, we're going to work on softness tonight. We're going to work on backing up. You know, when you're working on a ranch, you're working cattle, you want a horse that moves quick, you want a horse that moves light. You know, if you got a steer coming at you, you're going to have to get out of the way pretty quick. But that's not the only reason. I've been out in oak openings and see people's horses getting a little out of control. I've been hit by horses before out there. I've had them run, you know, right by me if I wouldn't have moved real quick. You know, a lot of advantage to a horse in keeping them light. And if you got to have a horse, you go, oh, come on, they're coming, get out of the way. Boom, too late. You know, if you got a horse that moves real quick and real light, you know, then you can get out of the way of a lot of things. I mean, also it's just a pleasure to ride. Who wants a horse you have to go like, get him to walk a step or two? You know, and I've seen so many of them that way. It doesn't have to be that way. If I want a horse, you know, I want a horse that's really light. So if I just barely touch him, you really probably didn't see me do anything there, but I just barely touched him inside, and he moved forward. If I sit down and relax, he stops. Now like I said, he knows the tricks, and you'll see when he gets off. When I get off, he's going to raise his head up, and to me that's a little signal to me between him and me. It says, "About time you got your butt off my back," you know, pretty much, you know. And he just kind of got that personality, which I deal with, and that's fine because he's had enough problems in his life without me causing him more, so it's okay. Okay, girls, come on up. We're going to get you out of here pretty quick, hopefully. We'll see how long this takes, but it shouldn't be too long. Again, we're going to ask for a little bit of vertical flexion. I'm going to back up real soft. Just using my legs. See the loose rein? Just using my legs. Okay, now let's just see how your horses do backing up here. Now, what I want you to do beforehand is ask for some vertical flexion. Just ask for a little vertical flexion, just wiggle just a little bit. See, okay, right there. Now, what we really need to work on with this horse to do it right is initially vertical flexion. Because she asked for vertical flexion, and there's nothing wrong. A lot of horses that way. I'm not picking on you or your horse or anything else. You got a great horse, but the horse just doesn't know. You know, I want a horse that if I do that, the head goes down. See how that relaxes the horse when it gets down below the withers, or head gets below the withers? You know, they really get quieter. Okay. Just very lightly, go like this. And if you see that head drop just a fraction, right there, quit. Drop your reins. Don't drop them, just loosen them up. See, yeah, even more. I know it's unusual, isn't it? I know, and dressage riders are kind of that way because, you know, they're taught to be on the bit, and that's okay. But they can also be soft and loose at the same time. It'll help your horse, see? And go ahead, let's see how your vertical flexion is. I think, okay, release right there. See, if you release at the proper time, pretty soon, and you want to go visit, pretty soon, that's all you got to do. You know, just really light, see? Just bounce that bit just a little bit, and the head goes down. Go ahead and try it again. Easy. Now, right there, quick, drop your reins. That's it. See, right there, you didn't notice it, did you? But you could see it out here. You saw that nose drop just a little bit. That's what you got to look for, is just that one little signal, just like that, and then quit. If you do that at the proper time, then your horse is going to get lighter and lighter and lighter with you. Okay? But if you don't release at the proper time, and that's crucial, then your horse gets heavier and heavier and heavier because he tries to figure out what else you might want, like we talked earlier on the ground. See, if you're not doing the release properly, he's going to get really kind of heavy on you. And then it makes it, it makes it a job to ride. I don't like it to be a job to ride. I like to enjoy myself when I go out and ride on the trail or whatever it is. You know, I don't want to have to, work on a horse if I can help it. So go ahead, both of you go ahead and just really easy, just pick up and just go like this. And then as soon as that head goes down, I'll tell you when, release those reins. They're out, release. Good, that was perfect. Go ahead, ask for just a little bit. Not that hard. Release. Okay, now, you see what's happening there? The horse is actually backing up, okay? Because it doesn't understand yet that all she wants is to have the horse drop its nose down just a little bit. Just a little bit, like that. Go ahead and try it again. Just a little bit. Just wiggle back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, that's it. That's okay. Now, that horse does have a habit of dropping her head down. Is that a mare? Yeah. Dropping her head down, and that's kind of a dangerous deal. Because if you're riding along and you're talking to your buddy, and then all of a sudden, boom, you know where you're going. Yeah, you're going to bite the dust. You know, and yeah, I mean, you know, how many of that happened to you before? I mean, where your reins, you know, all of a sudden get taut, and you're like, whoop, and there you go. Yeah, and that's why you should ride with a helmet. See, don't do as I do. You know, ride with a helmet. Okay, I really recommend that. So, okay, girls, let's try it again. Just soft, nice and soft, and then release. Little bit, little bit, little bit. There, right there. Okay, good. It wasn't perfect. It was an overreaction. But we got something, okay? And that wasn't too bad. All right, go ahead and try yours. Now, without soft vertical flexion, there you go. Without some soft vertical flexion, getting them to back up soft is going to be really hard. It's going to be very tough. Because then they're going to be rooting their nose out, and their head's going to be up like this, and their back is going to be hollowed out, and they're going to short step on you, you know, when they're going back. And that's never a good deal, because it's not comfortable for them, and it's not comfortable for you. Okay, you did the right thing. When her horse rooted her nose out, she needs to leave that pressure there, not necessarily jerk on the horse, but leave that pressure there until the horse finds where the pressure goes away. Then eventually what's going to happen is the horse will leave its head where it's comfortable. Go ahead, try it again. There, beautiful, nice. That's good. Okay, yeah, good. Now, what I would do right there, instead of that extra last jerk, I would just hold it stiff like that. And as long as the horse is backing up, if you've got pressure on the bit and you're just asking for vertical flexion and the horse is backing up, don't release the pressure until the horse stops, and then gives you that little bit of give. Because what's happening is, guys, when the horse is backing up and not giving its nose to you, it's basically avoiding what you're asking the horse to do. You know? And so if you release it the wrong time, you're then rewarding behavior you don't want, which is the horse necessarily backing up. You're just looking for a little softness in the horse. So why don't you ladies come up here a little farther, people can see a little better. You guys are way too far back. You guys are there, good, good. Okay, now, what we're going to do here, I want you to continue working on your vertical flexion. Now, your horse is doing a little better at releasing its nose and breaking between the axis and the atlas joints there and at the pole. So what I want you to do is bring your legs in. You're going to think, he's crazy. My horse is going to go forward. Well, maybe, but you're going to leave this wall out here. And after you ask for that vertical flexion, you're going to leave this wall out here, and you're going to just kind of lean back just a little bit and then press in on the sides of your horse just a little bit. Now, if your horse goes forward, that's fine. You may have to put a little more pressure on. But we're only asking for one step. Right there, then quit. Release. See? One step. And was that pretty soft? Does that feel pretty soft? Yeah, it looked pretty soft. Eventually, you want to get to the point, you know, where if you ask for some vertical flexion and you ask your horse to go back, you really don't have to use the reins. See, I'm just using my legs. So go ahead and try it again. That's it. In and out with your legs. In and out with your legs, just like this. Pulse in and out. In time with your reins. Just like this. In and out, in and out. That's okay. We're only looking for one step. There, quit, release. Good, good, good. It wasn't beautiful, you know, but it was a good change, you know, for the horse. And we try to reward every change that the horse makes that's positive. You know, and you know, we don't want to reward something it does wrong, that the horse does wrong, but did a good job. You know, it did release. Go ahead and try it again. We're just looking for softness here, looking for softness from the horse and from the rider. In and out, in and out. Okay, good, good, good. Now I have yet to see her horse, the mouth break loose and start to lick and chew a little bit. It's doing it, but I don't think it really understands why it's doing it, you know, yet. But in time, that will happen. Go ahead, let's bring your horse on up here. Let's, Work on yours a little bit while you continue to work on yours. Now, this doesn't seem like such a big deal, maybe to a lot of people, but to these riders and to people who do any kind of trail riding and that kind of thing, you want a horse that can really back up for you, and back up well. I'm not talking a horse that can only back up 1 or 2 steps and then quit. I want a horse that can back up as long and as far and at the speed I want. And when you do the heel back, like we're teaching right now, I can control the speed of how fast my horse backs up. See, if I want him to go slower, he'll go slower. And it only takes just that, to do it. And I'm not really pulling on his mouth. I'm saving that cell phone to his brain for something important. And you may need that someday, so why burn it out, and leave the messages all stuck up here in his mouth and they aren't getting to his brain. Go ahead, girls. Ask for vertical flexion, see? Vertical flexion first. There you go. Nice. See, that was a lot softer. And then quit. Quit right there, see? Don't ask for too much. Reward him. That's good. Good. That was good. That was better. That was better. That was a good change for this little horse right here. Still pulls on you a little bit, but it's only because, it doesn't understand that all the horse has to do is drop his nose. It's not because the horse wants to be bad. Horses don't really have that in them, to be bad. They don't have that in them to be obstinate. We put it in them sometimes ourselves by what we do or we don't do because, it's like I always say, most people, anybody here want to be a horse trainer? Huh? Well, you're all horse trainers, whether you like it or not. It doesn't make any difference because if you got any contact with a horse, you're a trainer. Good or bad, whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And I hate to tell you that, but that's just kind of the way it is. So go ahead, try it again. And we're just going to work on this tonight because this is important. This is something these horses will really, it'll benefit the horses and it'll also benefit the riders if they can soften up because horses don't like to be soft going back. They don't like to back up. They don't do it much in a while. A little more vertical flexion, but the backup was better. Use your heels in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. More vertical flexion. There you go. That's good. That's good. See, the attention of that horse went away. You see that? It was kind of looking outside. She needed to do a little more. Now, folks, don't get me wrong. Apache's extremely light. He really is. There aren't many horses as light as he is. But if a horse isn't taking the good deal that you're giving,